Hello and welcome. It's a good day to be on the farm. My name is Chuck, and this is Riverview Cows, episode 16. And in the last episode, it was about a year and a half ago in game, and we only had a couple of small fields 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then two cow pastures 11 and 12, and we were mowing the cow pastures to create hay to become a rancher and have lots of cows. I have done a lot of things since then. As you know, in the last episode 15, I was fast forwarding quite a bit, trying to get some progress made, and trying to just skip ahead because I had already done lots of grass care, and I wanted to kind of show you guys something different and just see what it would actually look like to have a large number of cows on this map. So that's part of what I've been doing here, is fast forwarding time and trying to move things forward. But I also have done a couple of other things, like, well, a lot of things actually. Number one, I have sold all the chickens. I actually let the chickens go for over a year, and we had 180 originally, and those 180 had chicks, and then those 180 had chicks, and then those 180 had chicks, and we had something like 800 to 900 chickens, and they were making a lot of eggs, but we weren't making a lot of wheat and barley to feed them. So eventually I did have to sell all the chickens. Now, that was a great investment because we only paid $5 per chick for those original 180 chickens, and we got $25 back for each adult chicken that we sold. So each one of those was 4 times plus another 4 times, because it was 5 to 25, but $5 out for shipping made it 20, and then another 4 times because of all of the generations of chickens that we had. I also have a ton of eggs sitting on our low loader back at the farm, so I'll show you that here in a minute. In addition, I did buy another round of cows, which I'll show you here shortly as well. About a year in, I think 13, 14 months, I went ahead and bought 59 more of the brown Swiss and 59 more of the Holstein cows, the dairy cows. So our first group had 60 and 60, so I bought the second group at 59, 59, so once they start reproducing, which is actually coming up pretty soon for the original groups, I could tell apart like whose babies are whose. So if we have 59 and 59, then we know that those 59 had 59 calves, rather than the chickens. It was quite confusing when I had 5 groups of 180 of different ages and varying sections. So the other thing I wanted to show you is I went on a buying spree of land. So we're in field 15 right now. I just finished planting it with grass and using this 12-foot weeder, which I also bought over the winter, the second winter, on sale for about 40% off in the farm store. So I've been watching the sales. I really wanted to get a new tractor. Never saw one, but I did get this weeder, which is 12 meters instead of the 3-meter planter that I used to plant 8, 9, and 10. And I basically took all of the fields that we have on the main farm and I turned them into grass fields, because guess what? Cows eat lots of hay. So that is that. So let me drop this off and I'll give you the quick nickel dime tour to try to catch you up, and then we'll see where we go from there. So obviously I wanted to kind of change the series up a little bit, and I feel like I've definitely achieved that, but it took me a long time to get this far, and I had to make some adjustments. So we'll get to those here in a second. So number one, let me come over here. I did also get this mixer there so we could use the straw bales that we had to, so one thing at a time. Here's the mixer. I use this to mix the straw bales to put straw in there, and we're eventually going to use it to mix TMR. I had actually used a modded one originally, but it kept leaving a bale in the bottom that was unground up, and the only way to get it out was resetting this to the shop. Not this one, the mod one. So I ended up going back and just getting this green one, which I've never used. I usually use the red ones, but it's been working great so far. I also mowed some more grass, and now we have 3 things of silage ready to go for when we start making TMR. And we've got hay up here and straw here for mixing, some more hay back here, and some even more hay here. So again, these cows eat lots of hay, so we just made a ton of grass fields to accommodate that. So here's where the chickens were. I did end up selling all the chickens just because I didn't have the ability to keep feeding them because I stopped making wheat and barley. There was some wheat in there, but I also got kind of tired of loading things up, and I didn't want to sell all these eggs without showing you guys first, because that's a lot of eggs, and a lot of eggs turns into a lot of cash in December or January, end of the year time. So I didn't want you to not see all the eggs, but I never bought a single extra chicken. It was just those original 180 you saw me buy that had babies, then had babies, then had babies, and then had babies, and they were all laying eggs. So lots of pallets of eggs for us to turn in this winter on the low loader there. So wanted you guys to be aware of that as well. Also, my cows are making manure. So look at all this manure that we have. It's starting to really stack up, which is nice. So I'm going to run down here and show you the grass fields. And then we're going to talk about a couple of other changes that I made in game as well. So same farmyard, same set of fields over here. But I have turned field 10 into a grass field because we just need lots of hay. I've turned field 9 into a grass field, and field 8. Field 7 I haven't actually replanted just because I haven't gotten around to it. But you may also notice I turned off precision farming. It was just getting to be too much for me because I have a grass roller and I wanted to fertilize my grass to get more hay for the cattle, because that's what we're doing here. Precision farming doesn't allow rolling of the grass to fertilize. At least it didn't in my playthrough here. So I had realized that that grass roller was worthless, and I was going to have to pay to fertilize the grass, which I didn't want to do because I was just trying to make hay to feed our cattle. So down here, we've got 3 grass fields here in addition to the 2 pastures. Looks like I missed a spot there. And then field 7 down there needs to be planted at one point in time. But then I also bought quite a few fields as well, because the fields are actually very reasonably priced in here. So in this map, they're half the cost, I think, of what they are in some of the base maps. So I did buy this field 13, which is this long straight one. It's been plowed. I haven't done anything with it, but it had sugar beets on it the first 2 years of this game. I didn't want someone to plant sugar beets on it again, so I bought it. The first big field I bought was actually this one, 19, which I had bought, limed, and fertilized, but haven't planted anything on because I wanted to move my crops to a bigger area. And then let me show you down here as well. And so you can see where I had limed it and then where I spread fertilizer, but I didn't quite do a great job of covering those ends. It's totally fine, but was taking care of that. And then over here, this is field 15, which you saw me at the beginning of the episode. I was planting grass on it because I was using that weeder that I bought on the sale. Number one, it wasn't plowed like these other fields were. Field 19 was plowed. Field 13 and 14 were both plowed. Field 15 wasn't, so it was covered in weeds and it was driving me nuts. So I decided to make a big grass field here because, you know what? The more cows we have, the more grass we're going to need. So this has turned into a grass field as well. Just finished planting that. And here is field 14. I didn't really need this one, but I bought it anyway because it was also plowed. And it is kind of the upper corner of the map here, so we technically own this as well. I have no idea what we're going to do with it or if we're going to even keep it, but wanted you to know that we do own that one. So this goes all the way up there into the corner, so that's kind of a nice big field for us to plant, almost as big as 19, but not quite. And lastly, this little field 16 over here, which isn't actually that little when you look at it. I limed this one and fertilized it. No, I bought this one limed, and I just spread fertilizer on it. So I spread fertilizer on 16, 15, and 14, or 16, 15, and 19. Anyway, so now that I've kind of driven you around those, let me just show you on the map here. So if I go into here, we own all of this. So this is the section that we own now. We originally started with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now we have 13, 14, 15, 16, 19. We didn't buy 17, 18, or 20. 18 is already a grass field, but like I said, I've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planted grass fields. And then 2 really large fields, 14 and 19 for crops. And then number 7 over here, which is our moderately sized field, which I don't know what we're going to do with yet. I'm actually tempted to kind of sell it because I'm not feeling it, but we'll see. Anyway, but so we have really established a nice footprint up here in the map. So wanted you guys to be aware of that. Now, full disclosure, I got impatient, cutting a lot of grass, and in order to buy all these fields and some of the equipment, I did cheat in a little bit of money into this game. So I just wanted you guys 100% transparent. I did cheat in some money to help get all these fields set up. I haven't bought any new tractors. I was looking for one in the sales, never found one, but I did have to buy, I bought that weeder. And cows also make milk. And so I had to buy, I was not going to drive all the way over to the dairy 8,000 liters at a time because our cows make lots and lots of milk because now they're old enough to do that. So I also had to buy a tanker that held 32,000 liters of milk, which I will show you here. So I bought that. I had to buy 1 or 2 loads of hay to feed them because I wasn't mowing fast enough. So this load of hay that's on this trailer right now, I actually purchased from the store with the money that I brought in. Those ones that are stacked over here, I actually mowed and, tedded myself, as well as this straw was actually the straw from our barley and our wheat fields that I collected. But I bought this Mack truck and this 32,000 liter tanker, which we're going to take down to the dairy right now, and I'm going to show you guys. This is my second load of milk that I have sold off of this. Now that our cows are producing, I had lots of milk, 70 or 80,000 liters to take care of. So we're going to go ahead and just get some of this out of here as well. So, not super proud of it, but I had basically got frustrated with the game, cheated in some money, played a couple of months, and then I decided to save it because I didn't want to redo all that. But then I couldn't go back. So I was trying to decide if I should just stop the series and just play this one myself, or if I should continue the series, but I couldn't, unfortunately, undo the money that I brought in when I bought some of those things. So wanted to show you kind of what we're looking at. So now I'm driving down between field 19 and 7 and 8, which were the original fields. So you can see I missed a little bit of fertilizing down there on the end, but wanted you guys to be aware. So we're going to take this down to the dairy for another load here. It is kind of a lot of curvy roads to get over here to the dairy, so hang in there with me as we make our way. Yeah, but the last part of that is that I actually cheated in too much money, more than I meant to. So I ended up buying and selling some cotton harvesting equipment. just to try to get rid of like $1 million. So I actually ended up buying that $700,000 or $800,000 cotton harvester 5 times and then selling it. And each time I lost about $250,000. So was able to get rid of about $1 million that way. And then the last thing I did is I bought another section of fields down here, which I'm not even gonna probably use, but wanted to get some of that other cash out of um, the economy, so to speak, or just out of my bank account in here, just so you guys can see that. So here is the dairy over here, and while this is unloading, because it does take quite a while to drain 32,000 liters into the dairy, we're going to go down here and we're going to sell this. Now, at some point in time, I could buy the dairy too, but I'm not really sure that I'm ready for that. So while this is unloading, I'll show you. So we have that section of fields up here. I also own 37, 38, 36, 35, and 34, these 5. This is actually a really beautiful part of the map, and if I wasn't so determined to really see what 1,000 cows looks like, I would be down here farming. So as you can see, I own this section as well, and this is about another 1.5 million. And look, there we go, 68, 160 in milk. So each load of 32,000 liters is bringing us about $68,000, which is nice because the cows are certainly making milk at this point. And that kind of pays for this tanker and this Mack truck. The truck itself was $95,000, I believe, and the tanker was, I think, right around 60 or 65. So those 2 tanks of milk have essentially paid off the truck that we're going to use to transport. But we're going to go ahead and continue to produce milk and transport it because I'm trying to get to 1,000 cows in that first one, and then we're going to see if we can get another 1,000 in the second one. So hopefully this will reinvigorate some interest in this series. It was, or has been, my best performing series on YouTube, to be honest with you guys. It's gotten a lot more traction than my Erlengrot series did, and my Somerset is doing okay, but this one for some reason got quite a few views originally. So I wanted to continue it, but again, I kind of got frustrated and cheated in some money and then saved the game, and then I didn't know what to do. So but we're on year 3 or year 4 moving forward here. Lots of work to do, mowing the grass and moving all of these things forward in the game to continue. So lastly, I'm going to go park this up and I'm going to actually just show you the animal tab so you can see what's going on there as well. And then I think that will about wrap it up for this episode, as I'm going to just be kind of fast forwarding through a couple of months. I want to get those eggs sold in the next episode, so we're going to try to make it to December by the next episode, and we're just going to be basically feeding all this hay to the cows, and then we're going to start TMR in the next year. So let's look at the animal tab finally. So here we go. You can't see any more chickens because I've got rid of them. We have the other large barn, which is where the other 1,000 can stay. But so we have our Holstein 60, which were the original ones we bought that are 18 months old. They're going to be starting to reproduce here later this year. And then Holstein 59 cows is kind of the second generation that I bought, again, for the $200 as calves at 0 months old. So we're literally letting these age up. These have played 18 months in the game. These have played 5. Same thing with the Brown Swiss. They were 19 months. Looks like we started with the Brown Swiss before the Holstein. So my first cows were these 60, and then I bought another 59 from this. And if we do buy another generation this year, I'll do 58. And then when they start reproducing, we'll see, we can match up the 60s, the 59s, and the 58s in here to try to get us closer to that 1,000. So what is this? 238 cows that we have. As you can see, we've got 187,000 liters of hay in there already. 50,000 liters of straw. Our milk is down to just 8,000 liters now because we just took 64,000 liters over to sell. Got a lot of slurry building up as well. So eventually I'll start fertilizing our crops with slurry and manure because we're producing those as well. But here are the cows that we have in this series going forward. So wanted you guys to be aware of that. So anyway, that's kind of where we're caught up at. Obviously, quite a bit has changed, but quite a bit is really the same. So the last thing that I wanted to do this episode that I haven't done yet is I don't know why I didn't realize this earlier or why nobody told me, but the entire time I've been playing this series, all of my license plates have said Cavalier, which I think is just the creator's license plate, but like all three tractors and the telehandler all basically said Cavalier, and that doesn't mean anything to me. So I've been slowly but surely changing them all to some variation of bucket of chuck. So I wanted to come in here. Number one, let's just repair this for another $4,000 because it needed it. And then let's get in here and customize. And we're going to change this to, I think, my favorite way to spell my gamer tag in 8 letters. Nope. That is not what I meant. No, don't purchase it. Change it. No, change it. Thank you. B. So bucket of Chuck. And that is my gamer tag on the PlayStation Network and on Xbox actually as well, and has been for about 12 to 15 years at this point. But can't obviously fit all of that on here. So anyway, we're slowly changing our license plate. So okay, but then I have to purchase it here. Yes, to change it. So lastly, I just wanted to change that to bucket of Chuck or bucket o' Chuck at this point. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, for hanging in there. I do apologize that it took me almost 3.5, 4 weeks to get to this episode. I know some of you have been patiently waiting and asking me about when we're going to get back to Riverview. So this is episode 16. We are moving forward. It is March of year 1, 2, 3, 4. I think year 4. I don't know. I'll have to look. But March of year 4, we have 238 cows and lots of fields. And we're going to kind of stick there. Now, when I do plant field 19 and 14, those two really big fields, we're going to need a bigger planter because I'm not going to plant those 3 meters wide at a time. 12 meters was fine for that one, but I can only plant grass, oilseed radish, and canola with it. So if we're going to do something to make straw for the cows, which is what we're likely to do, it'd be barley or wheat, and therefore I'm going to need a new planter that can do that. For the bigger fields, I'm also going to need maybe a bigger harvester, but we will see how that goes. So we're not there yet. We're just going to focus on the cows and try to get them a little farther. Now, our one cows, I know I said I was going to end the episode, and now I am here talking, is they are essentially here. These brown Swiss are 19. They're super close to beginning their reproduction cycle. So they've met puberty and now they can start reproducing because at 18 months they're fully mature. So we're going to have another 120 cows in here pretty soon. And then next year we'll also get another 118 cows from these two. And that's going to double the amount of cows that we have. So that's why we need to have so much hay on hand, because already I'm going to go through the rest of this hay pretty fast. Certainly by October, November at the latest, but that's why we've got that next load of hay ready to go. And then we'll start TMR a little bit later once we have some more cows as well. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. I intend to start making more of these now that I'm a little bit farther in the future. I still am going to skip ahead because I wanted to get to December. So next episode, we are going to be switching a couple of months this summer. I might do some mowing off camera and just show me picking up those bales and see where we're at, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up with another episode in December and starting to year 4, and we'll hopefully plant 14 and 19 in the episode before or after that one, because I know barley and wheat are winter crops. Anyway, thanks guys. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.